How do you find pleasure and connection in your relationship and in childbirth and parenting? Hi, I'm Deborah Pascali-Bonaro, founder and director of Orgasmic Birth and host of the Orgasmic Birth podcast. Needing a Self-Help Guru by Elle Magazine, Melissa Ambrosini, my guest today, is the best-selling author of Mastering Your Mean Girl, Open Wide, Comparisonitis, and the Audible original Purposeful. And I love that name. And I love Open Wide is one of the books that I first read of Melissa's that really turned me on to the amazing work that she's doing. She's also a winner of the best ebook of all time and voted by the Book Depository. Melissa is host of the #1 rated podcast, The Melissa Ambrosini Show, where she shares her wisdom and interviews with the biggest thought leaders and experts in the world to help her audience unlock their full potential and live their dream life. With a deep commitment to empowering others to become the best version of themselves, Melissa believes that awakening is possible for everyone. She strives to inspire others to reclaim their power, bust through fear, step into their truth, live with intention, and move in the direction of their dreams. And she's here today to share with us about pleasure in birth and parenting. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you so much for having me. This is such a delight to be here with you. You have been on my podcast. You are one of my experts on the podcast. So it's beautiful to be on the other side today.
It's really special to have you here. And I know a little bit about your story, but I know that your births really brought you into a lot of what you're writing about, speaking about, and some of the new things you're doing that we'll hear about later on. Can you take us through a little bit, some of your births and what that was like for you and your partner?
So I have, at the time of recording this, she is 1.5 years old. And she is such a delight. And I had no idea how much I would love motherhood and just how much it would feel so right. And it's been the most beautiful and expansive journey, big and beautiful. And I share a little bit about the birth story. I've shared a little bit publicly, but I haven't shared too much. I've saved it all for my program, Holy Mama. And I share a lot about the birth in there. But what I will say is that I had a beautiful home birth. We had the pool set up and I had my midwife, my doula, my husband, Nick, and a friend who is a videographer and photographer. So she was kind of the fly on the wall, taking photos and videoing the whole thing, which I'm just so glad that I have that to look back on it. It's such a beautiful reminder. And I look back on those photos and that video and I'm just, wow. Yeah, I'm so in awe of myself. And when I think back to my birth, I feel so proud of myself. I feel so in love with my husband. I feel so empowered. And, when you look back on the photos, you can see how deeply in love Nick and I were. And it was just the most beautiful dance that we did during the birth. And I never said, let's make out or, I was open to whatever I needed in that moment. But the way that he showed up and held me physically and metaphorically and held space for me and was by my side the entire time, the way that he showed up in that experience was so inspiring. I felt like I'd fallen in love with him all over again. And, I would say to him, the way that you showed up, you're my hero. And then he'd look at me and go, you're my hero. Like, look at what you just did. Like, you're my hero. And I'm like, no, you're my hero. And so it was really beautiful. And then we, after she arrived, we did the beautiful 40-day lying in period. And I'd set myself up for that, which is really important, and which is something that I teach in Holy Mama, because so many women plan for the birth and then the baby arrives and they haven't planned for their postpartum experience. So I teach women how to set themselves up for a beautiful and blissful postpartum experience, because it's so important, especially those 40 days. You are getting to meet your baby and learn your baby. You're learning breastfeeding. It's all new, especially when it's your first. It's all new to you. And so setting yourself up for that period is very important. That's something that I teach. So after we birthed her, we went into this beautiful 40-day lying in period. And like, I think back to that time, and I think we were so in love and so connected, and just in this beautiful love bubble, supported by our community, which was really beautiful. And, I wanted to do that as well, because I know how big birth is on the body and mentally. Like, it's a big deal. It's not something that is just like going to get your hair cut. It's not going to get your hair cut. It's a huge experience. And so we had the most beautiful 40-day experience, and it was beautiful. And this little love bubble that the three of us were in, it was just magic. And then, after you get the all clear from I went and saw a women's pelvic floor physio that I'd seen beforehand, which was really important. I talk about this in the program and why it's so important. And so I went back to her around that 6 or 7 week mark, and she checks everything and makes sure everything's, all good to go, and you can start making love again and things like that. And, that they want to make sure that there's no prolapse or anything going on in there. And so I got the all clear from her, and that was really beautiful. But it's really like starting your whole lovemaking journey with this partner all over again. And it was almost like we're rediscovering each other for the first time, like as new parents, but also as lovers. And it was a really a big thing. Like, I didn't expect that. I didn't think that that was something that we were going to have to do, but it happened, and I just embraced it. And I kept on reminding myself, like, of course, this is going to feel different. Of course, we're going to have to get to know each other in a different way, in a new way, intimately. Of course, I've just given birth, and everything shifts, as you know, when we give birth. And so we embarked on this journey of discovery. Like, what does this look like? And we came to it with fresh eyes. We also we saw a beautiful, I guess you could call her like a tantra coach, or a mentor, or a sex coach, or whatever you want to call her. She's a goddess. And we had some sessions with her, which were really beautiful. And a lot of those sessions were us just sitting, breathing together, like breathing into each other, and reconnecting in that way, and hand on each other's heart, and just breathing each other. And then we had some homework to do outside of that, but a lot of those sessions were about communicating and talking, doing what I talk about in Open Wide, practicing crystal clear communication, breathing together, and getting to know each other in this new way as these new people, because we are different to pre-baby. There is no going back. There's no bouncing back. There's no going back to your old life, going back to your way of being is only forward. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to go backwards. I only want to move forward in life. And so we had to embrace getting to know each other on this different new level. And it was really beautiful and expansive. And that's why we got some support from this mentor or coach, whatever you want to call her. And it's still evolving. And, you know, I think communicating is very, very important, especially, you know, physically, the woman has gone through so much, and emotionally and spiritually, but, you know, communicating how it feels in my body. And then what's coming up emotionally for me, like, is there any insecurity or whatever it is? So it was such a journey, and we're still on that path, and we'll always be evolving. And I'm sure the next baby will bring another whole level of up leveling, and then the next baby, another whole level of up leveling. But I think it's really important that we don't expect, once we have given birth, for things to be with our partner the same way, like that you're going to make love the same way, that you're going to interact the same way. Like everything is shifted. And so if we can let go of like the expectation of it being the way it was or the same, and go into it with fresh eyes, then I think that is a really beautiful thing to do. And a great thing to remember when you are embarking on this journey.
Such a beautiful story. Thank you, Melissa. And it's so wonderful to hear how you and Nick, I often, when I'm teaching, say love through labor. And that's what it sounds like you two did. I almost, like, as you were talking, I could feel what that must have been for each of you to be so in love, and him so proud of you, and then after you proud of yourself. I mean, labor is that powerful journey that you never fully know what it is till you're in it. But then to have prepared for those 40 days, I love that you're teaching that you did that. It's so crucial, right? And that gets left out. But I want to take you deeper too, because you talked about, you know, getting to know each other again, and you've given birth, your body is different. And I love that you had the PT, the pelvic floor physical therapist, such an important part, again, of the healing process. But how do you feel like birth and your new body, did that take you to deeper places in your sexuality, in your intimacy, because you've already been coaching people in that? Did it open up new pieces of that for you?
I think it is still. It's still opening up new pieces, because I think for me, definitely at the start, it's like, okay, how do I do this again? Like, what am I doing? Like, what's going on? It was a little bit like that for me. Like, I was like, ooh. And, you know, there was like inside, as you know, like there can be little micro tears. And so like that for me felt scratchy, almost like a little bit scratchy. And yes, my pelvic floor therapist was like, you're all good. They're just tiny little micro tears. That could be why it feels scratchy. So like that scratchy feeling was there for a while. So I was like, what is going on? But like, just, you know, being really kind and gentle with myself, being really kind and gentle is really important. And I think because your body is different, and like, especially if you're breastfeeding, like, especially at the start, like your boobs are so big and they're like mine were engorged. And like, I was like, no, these are a no-go zone. Like we don't go there. They were like so sensitive. I was like, out of bounds. So like there is things like you're getting to know yourself for the first time. And then you're getting to know your partner and intimately how you flow together for the first time. So it's all new, and we've got to be really gentle and soft and kind with ourselves and with our partner. And so for me, there was like a little bit of that at the start. And then, once the breastfeeding flows beautifully, that's another layer where I could relax a bit more. Like I wasn't like, oh, okay, this could, let's stay away from this area because it might hurt. You could relax a bit more. And yeah, it's just been such an evolution. It really has been an evolution. And I feel like, and this isn't spoken about so much, but like when we give birth, the mother becomes the birth shaman, and we go up to the stars and we get our baby and we bring them down. And so they talk a lot about your baby integrating into earth taking weeks. They still come, some people say the baby's still landing, they're still landing. They're still in between the two worlds. They're still landing. And you can kind of see when a baby is fully landed, like their eyes are a bit more wide and brighter. And you're like, oh, they're here. Like they're fully here now. And I feel like the same happens for the mother. And we don't talk about this enough. Like it took me a while to kind of like come back into my body and land back into my body. And then all the hormones are having a party. And so you're high and you're so elated. And then the hormones kind of regulate again. So there's so much going on internally for you. And it takes time for you to land in your body. And so being really gentle and kind and soft and compassionate with yourself is essential post-birth, and it's always essential, but especially post-birth and in lovemaking with our beloved, being really gentle. It's just such a key piece to the puzzle, because you are a completely different person. You've got a different body. And the more that we can love and accept our body, the better. I think childbirth is the most magic trick I have ever seen. It is just magic. And then the way that the body just grows a human and then just births the human and then makes milk to feed that human, like it is absolutely jaw-dropping. And when you remember that, it's a lot easier to feel gratitude for your temple, to feel love and appreciation for your body when you remember that, because your body has just gone through so much, and it's just birthed this human being. And that's no small feat. It's a huge thing. And I think, we just need to come back to that. And some of the things that I did to stay connected to my body, I think, I had done so much work before I got pregnant. Like I truly loved my pregnancy and I loved my pregnant body, even, the cellulite on my thighs. I loved the cellulite because I knew what was happening. I was building a baby. My body was creating eyes and skin and nails and, bones. And so I loved being pregnant. I loved my pregnant body and I embraced it. And one thing that I did, and I've done this for years, which has really helped me love my body and stay connected to my body, is self-love massage. And I do this almost every single day. And it's where you just get a beautiful Ayurvedic oil, an organic Ayurvedic oil, and you do what they call Abhyanga. And it's basically where you just oil your body, all over your body. And what I do and how I teach it is you also add in affirmations and mantras. So I will be rubbing my thighs saying, thank you, thighs. I love you, thighs. Rubbing my belly. thank you, belly. I love you, belly. Rubbing my breasts. Thank you, breasts. I love you, breasts. And I've been doing this for years, and this has really helped me to love my body and to stay connected to it. And it's a practice. It's a daily practice that really does help and support. And especially post-birth, you're lathering your body in oil, because in Ayurveda, you're vata imbalanced, and oiling your body helps balance the vata. So you want to be oiling up every single day. So that was something that I did each day, as well as having a sitz bath. That was a way to fill myself up and to take care of myself. I think it's really important. And if we want a pleasurable life, it starts with us. If we want more love and more intimacy with our partner, it starts with us. We have to do that ourselves. We have to be intimate with ourselves and love ourselves. It starts with us first.
So true. And I can just feel it's making me want to do the loving myself with oil, because that's truly something we need to do all through life, right? But postpartum, what a beautiful thing I just really feel that. And I hope everyone that's listening is going to find that time. If you're pregnant or parenting or all birth keepers, we need to do that as well. So I know you're doing amazing things now, and you have your upcoming new Holy Mama class. And I'm wondering if you could just give us a couple tips for people that are listening and going, how did you and Nick develop that loving through labor? What would be a couple tips for pleasure and love that people could integrate into preparing to welcome the baby?
Okay. If there is anything unresolved in your relationship, it's really important to have those conversations before labor starts, whether that's with your partner or with anyone, a friend, whoever it is. It's really important to have those conversations, practice crystal clear communication, especially with your beloved. And my husband and I, we had so many conversations, like anything that felt unresolved, we spoke about, so that we could both be fully present in the moment whilst giving birth. And we truly were so present. And I talk about this in the program, like setting up your dream birth scenario and environment is essential. And I teach people how to do this. So one of the things that can really help you in birth is feeling safe in your environment. So choosing a birthing environment where you feel safe, like where do you feel the most safe? And then whether that's the hospital, a birthing center, or at home, or the bush, wherever, like choose somewhere where you feel the most safe, because when you feel safe, you allow yourself, it allows you to drop your guard and to be fully present. And that's what you want in labor. So definitely choosing a space where you feel really, really safe, and then setting yourself up. And I talk about this in Holy Mama, like creating the birth environment of your dreams. What does that look like? Is the TV on or is the TV off? Are the lights bright or are the lights dim? Are people walking in and out of the room, or is there no one coming in? Is there a pool or is there no pool? Like, is there incense diffusing? Is there, so I've got like a whole list that people can kind of go through, but these are things that we need to think about. Like, we really need to set ourselves up for success, because when we do, we can then show up to labor present, prepared as much as we possibly can. And we've resolved anything that's been there, we've let that go, and it's allowed us to be fully present. And that definitely helped us. Like, we were both able to show up fully present, be there. Like, we didn't have our phones on, like, especially in the early stages. We were just like doing this dance. He would occasionally text the midwife. This was, before we told her to come. And, he would be occasionally texting the midwife, but our phones were not in sight. The TV wasn't on. Like, it was just us in our home. And we created that environment that allowed me to feel safe and held. And as a result, we were able to do this beautiful, intimate dance together during the labor and the birth. And it was really beautiful. And the birth team is very important. It's very, very important who you have in your space. And that's part of safety. That's part of feeling safe. Like, you have to feel safe with those people, because birth is the most vulnerable, intimate thing. And people are watching. It's like, people don't watch you make love, and that's very intimate and vulnerable, but people don't watch you do that, but they watch you give birth. And so you have to feel very safe and held by your team. And that allows you to relax and to surrender and to bring that baby earthside. So I think, that's really important and something to think about.
Yeah. Thank you. Such fantastic tips. And I'm sure people are thinking now, how can they reach you? Can you talk a little bit about, and you've mentioned a lot, Holy Mama, how can people learn more, and tell us where they can find your books and follow you in your podcast?
Thank you. Well, you can find everything at melissaambrosini.com, and the podcast is The Melissa Ambrosini Show, and Melissa Ambrosini on Instagram. Come and message me and tell me what you got out of this conversation. I would love to meet you and to connect with you. I love connecting with new people. So come and say hi. And Holy Mama, the doors are open. This is an online program. The doors are open right now, and they close November 4 in Australia, November 3 in America. So you've got between now and November 3 or 4, depending where you are in the world, to sign up. And then the doors are closing, and you won't be able to join until the doors open sometime next year, which we don't even know when that's going to happen. So if you ever want to have a baby, even if it's in 10 years' time, this program is for you. So it's broken up into 4 major areas. We've got conscious conception, we've got pregnancy, then birth and postpartum, and then we've got conscious parenting. And so I obviously teach on these areas, and then I've brought in the world's best experts, including Deborah. She is inside the program. I've brought in the world's best experts, doctors, scientists, incredible human beings to come on and also teach masterclasses inside the program. So it is incredible. It is the most comprehensive and holistic program on the planet. So there's no program that I have discovered that covers all of those areas in depth. I know there's like birth courses, and then there's pregnancy courses, but like, we're covering the whole lot. So if you are thinking one day you want to have a baby, do this now, because trimester 0 has already started. And if you want to consciously conceive, this is for you. If you are pregnant right now, this is for you. If you've just given birth, this is for you, because we talk about the postpartum. And if you want to learn about conscious parenting, this is for you. And so Holy Mama is such an incredible holistic program with all of these experts. And then you can also upgrade to become a VIP mama, which is very exciting, which is where you get access to Deborah. She's part of the VIP Mama Club. And I've got Deborah and 4 other incredible teachers and experts. We've got Dr. Sarah Buckley, who wrote Gentle Birth, Gentle Mothering. We've got Dr. Oscar Saleras, who wrote the Postnatal Depletion Cure. We've got Dr. Stephen Cabral. We've got Dr. Cleopatra, and we've got Deborah. So you can upgrade to become a VIP mama, which is where you get masterclasses with these incredible humans. And yeah, like I said, this is like open right now. It is something that I am so passionate about teaching about, because I truly want to help women feel empowered in birth, because if they feel empowered in birth, they will feel empowered in their parenting, and then they will raise empowered children. And then those children are the ones that are going to change the world. And so it is my mission to help create as many holy mamas, empowered mamas all over the world, because no one deserves to have a traumatic birth experience. No one deserves that. Every single human being on this earth deserves and is worthy of having an empowered experience. And that will look different to every single person. An empowered birth could be in the bush. It could be in the hospital. It could be with a doctor. It could be with a midwife. There's no rules. Empowered is a feeling. And my mission is that every woman gives birth and says, I feel empowered and proud of myself after that, like I have felt. And it is my mission to help women get to that place.
Thank you so much, Melissa. And I have to say, not only am I so honored to be part of your program and in your VIP program, but also to be a partner. So if you're listening, you can go to orgasmicbirth.com/mama. And not only can you sign up for Holy Mama, but if you sign up through our partner link, we're going to give you an epic bonus. And we were kind of talking about this, and I'm going to announce it now. We're going to give you access to our pleasurable birth essentials. So you're going to get double the bang of having some of our class, as well as all that Melissa has put together for you. And I know this is really an epic opportunity to, as you said, prepare for pregnancy, conscious conception, to have the tools if you are pregnant, for parenting. And I couldn't just agree more that every person deserves an empowered birth. I would actually add even an orgasmic birth, right? And we'll be talking about that in Holy Mama and also on our podcast. So thank you so much for joining us at the Orgasmic Birth Podcast. I am truly honored. And for everyone listening, we can't wait to hear your feedback. So definitely go on, tag Melissa, tag us, tell me what was your favorite takeaway? What are some things that you're going to do? And if you have questions about Holy Mama, definitely reach out. We're here to doula you to getting the information that you desire and deserve to create the experience that you are dreaming of. As you heard, it's possible. So thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful.
And for everyone, we wish you pleasure and look forward to talking with you again next time on the Orgasmic Birth Podcast.